What up, what up, what up? We are live. How you guys doing today? Welcome to another episode of Hawks Hoops Live, the weekly NBA show. Trying to make sure it's actually, there we go, connected. Was acting funny for a little bit, but we are here on a Wednesday night now. We decided to move it to Wednesday nights. I'm gonna tell you why. Two reasons. One, I love TNT basketball on Tuesdays. Usually that doubleheader is pretty good. The doubleheader that happens on ESPN's on Wednesdays, the games are good, but I don't like the commentators that much. So I'm okay with missing those games live. And Tuesdays are my movie nights. The movie theater I go to has movies for $6 every Tuesday. And last night we wanted to see Venom. So I said, this is the perfect opportunity to change it from Tuesday night shows to Wednesday night shows. Shout out to the OG Sixers Cup. For those kind of half wondering, Dario Saric is on this. Okafor is on this. This, I think, is Ben's rookie year. But let's go ahead and get started. I don't have a ton of things to talk about. I'm not going to hold you. It's been a really, really long week for me. So I'm not going to try to keep you guys long. Hopefully next week's episode is a little longer. Once again, phone lines, they're not open. I should open them. Hold on, guys. Got the phone line number up there, 609-365-0382. Feel free to call in with your takes, hang out with us. Phone lines are now officially open. So let's hop in right into this. Let's talk about a team that going into this season, I think a lot of people had high hopes on. I think a lot of people thought they would be good. They had some of the best young talent in the league. They still have some of the best young talent in the league. They're just not putting it together. And that team is the Boston Celtics. Boston is currently 2-5. And like I said, going into this season, this team had some high hopes. They just traded for Al Horford, got him back. Traded for Josh Richardson. Last couple of seasons of his career haven't been great, but he put him in a situation where he really only needs to score the ball a little bit. You would think he would flourish. The Dennis Schroeder signing, he didn't sign for his $84 million with the Lakers. They signed him for like $5 million on the 1-year deal. A new head coach, and Ime Udoka. What is his full name? I was a little apprehensive about the new coach, Ime Udoka. Sorry, and mainly because I just felt like it was a lot going into the season. I'll be honest. I forgot they got a new coach. I forgot Brad Stevens wasn't the coach. I forgot he's now the president of basketball operations, GM, making those decisions, took over Danny Ainge's spot. And I forgot that they hired a new coach. So after looking at this all in hindsight, their slow start to an extent makes some sense. Just a lot of new moving parts. A new center. Granted, they played with the center before, but he's still new, kind of, sort of. A new point guard. Both of those positions are very important to a team's success. A brand new coach, so new schemes, and he shows the most in the fourth quarter. We'll talk about that in a second. And they're just not playing, I think, to people's expectations. They've had a lot of issues. And Udoka, I wrote this down, so I want to get it out. He has, I think, he comes from a coaching pedigree. He definitely has coaching experience. He's assistant coach for the Spurs, the Sixers, and the Nets. He was with the Spurs during their championship run in 2014. He was USA basketball assistant in 2018. So he's coached at high levels. He's been a part of really good coaching staffs. He's been a part of winning teams, playoff teams, like a championship team with the Spurs. So he's I won't say he's a bad coach, but the first time head coach is going to have some bumps. You're just going to. And it's still early enough in this season that they could clean this up, turn it around, but it's not looking great for them. The Boston Celtics started out with a bang. They had a double overtime game against the Knicks in the beginning of the season, and everybody, like, although the Knicks won, it was still a exciting game to watch. Everybody was like, "Oh, these two teams are going to be a great 7-game series. Wow, this is crazy." But then they've been losing against good teams. Like if you're a 500 team, you're probably beating the Celtics, and that's not a good sign if you're a Celtics fan. They lost to the Knicks. They lost to the Raptors. They beat the Rockets, but it's the Rockets. That's a bad team. They beat the Hornets. I wouldn't call the Hornets a bad team, but I don't know if they're a bona fide good team. They lost to the Wizards twice back to back. The second one was in overtime. Those are glaring losses to me because they shouldn't be. The Knicks aren't the Wizards aren't who I would consider a good team. They're a team that is there. They're a team that has the potential to be good. I think they're a team that's surprising a lot of people. But going into the season, I don't think anyone thought the Wizards would be a good team. I actually made a TikTok about that earlier this week. But the Wizards are surprising people. Then they latest, I guess we'll say pitfall, is they blew a 14-point lead and ended up losing by 14 to the Bulls. The Bulls went on a 39-11 run in the fourth quarter, and it was just a total collapse of the offense. It was very ugly to watch. Marcus Smart had some words. We got some video we want to look at and break down. So let's first take a second. This is Marcus Smart's words. It's Marcus Smart's words directly after the game. So let me pull this up real quick. If it'll do it quickly for me.
I could do without the ball.
Boom, boom, boom. Now let's see what Marcus has to say. Like I said, this is right after they lost that game to the Bulls, where they were winning most of the game.
In my hands, I just sit and stand in the corner. When we run in plays for our best players, every team knows that they do a good job of shutting that down. And we can't allow that. When they shut that down, we can't keep trying to go to those guys. We gotta abort that and find another way to get them the ball in the spots that they need the ball. And like I said, for me, I can only do so much with just standing in the corner or when I come up and give the ball away. So, I do everything I can on the other end to try to combat that. I try to talk. I try to, make the plays, get those guys the ball where they need it, where they want it. It's only so much.
So that's what Marcus Smart had to say. I thought that was interesting. A lot to process there. Basically, he's calling out Tatum and Brown directly, saying everybody knows we're trying to get you the ball. He's also kind of sort of calling out the coach, in my opinion, because he said we need to try something different. And the person who usually decides what the team is doing is the head coach. He's clearly upset. Now, he's making it seem like he doesn't get the ball. He's making it seem like Tatum and Brown aren't passing, aren't sharing the ball. Legend of Winning, Low, if you're not familiar with him, on YouTube or on Twitter, put together a great
Jason
breakdown.
Tatum and Jaylen Brown are
talking about specifically that Bulls game that the Boston Celtics blew a lead in. I believe he's a big Celtics fan. And he basically just talks about what they did and shows that they were moving the ball. The other guys just weren't hitting shots. So let's take a look at that real quick.
are about to get a bad rap for being like teammates who don't pass the ball. And like, let me be clear, I think both of them do need to improve as playmakers. But
I want him to point that out. He says he wants both of them to improve as playmakers. No one's saying that they are amazing playmakers. All he's trying to prove is when Marcus Smart saying take it with a grain of salt. Matter of fact, his actual tweet was, please watch the game before you run with Marcus Smart. Quote, Tatum and Brown are passing the ball and creating for their teammates. They just don't make the shot. So there's some room to go for Tatum and Brown, but Smart's comments were unnecessary after tonight's loss.
Watch the Bulls game, bro. Like, they were passing the ball, and the role players and the supporting cast members just missed shots. So here's swing, open shot from Josh Richardson.
Break.
He just
wide
misses
open
it.
shot.
Get the ball to Tatum in a post. He gets triple team right here.
Triple team.
Tatum gets triple team. Kicks it out.
Beautiful pass.
Swing.
One more.
Wide open shot for
open
Dennis Schroeder.
Break.
He just misses a shot. So there
Done
goes
by
Schroeder, who gets blocked from behind. Here's Schroeder again, turning the corner,
Missed layup.
missing a layup.
Mind you, Richardson open right there.
Jaylen Brown gives.
Can I show that? Richardson wide open on that layup, by the way.
Missing a layup. Jaylen Brown
Doubling like they should.
gives double.
It's the roll, man.
Pass.
Kick.
Pass. Another open shot.
Break.
Miss. Tatum again gets doubled, so he passes it out.
Mind you, Horford, they call him a shooting big. He should be able to make this. That's what he gets paid to do. That's why he's so sought after in the league, I feel like.
Al Horford missed the shot.
Oh,
Kicks it right out. Again, Tatum doubled, so he kicks it out to Smart. Smart makes it. Nope, he misses it.
Say he's stuck in the corner. That looked like the top of the key to me. I get that's being picky and picking on him, but I'm just playing.
So again, Marcus Smart complaining about people not kicking it out, but when they kick it out to him, y'all are missing shots. You watch the footage back again, there were several opportunities for the supporting cast members to make open looks when Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were doubled, and they kicked it out to them, and they got quality looks, and they just missed the shots. If we were to have lost a game in the manner in which we just did, and the first thing...
Yeah, he's saying we. He's definitely a Celtics fan. But that's the point here. The Celtics teammates, they're getting the ball. Tatum, Brown, they're trying to put the ball in their hands and win these situations. But if they're not going to hit shots, the team can't win games. That's what winning teams do. Their best players, they get double teamed, they get triple teamed, they make the smart play, and the supporting cast hits their shots, they make the right cuts. There were plenty of open shots that you've seen there. And if they can't make these shots, it's not going to look good for them. So what are we looking at here? How can this get better? What can we do here? Also, before we get on to what we can do to make this thing better for the Celtics are currently playing the Magic. Before their game with the Magic, allegedly, Woj just came out and said that before the game, I guess when they landed yesterday in Orlando, they had a team meeting. He doesn't think it was very productive. It doesn't seem like it was very productive. If they mess around and lose to these Orlando Magic, it's really bad for the Celtics. Right now, it's halftime. They're down 44-46, so they're down 2 at the half. They can't lose against the Magic. The Magic are a bad team. If you are a team with, I wouldn't even say the Boston Celtics have playoff championship aspirations. I would just say they have second round playoff aspirations. So if they can if they want to get to that point, if they want to be a team that makes the second round, their other guys need to step it up. They need to beat bad teams. If they lose against these Orlando Magic, it's really going to be time to maybe hit the panic button. I don't want to say, like if they keep going down this trajectory, you're going to hear conversations of, do they fire their new head coach? Do we make a trade? Like the Celtics, I think there's a lot of a perfect storm for. They really could try to shake some things up before the season's over if they don't fix this trajectory. If they fix this trajectory, start winning games again, no one's going to care about these first 7 games of the season. No one's going to care that they started 2-5 if they're the 5 seed, if they're the 4 seed. No one's going to care. But if we look up and they're the 8th seed, the 9th seed, the 10th seed, I doubt it'll get to that point. Right now, they're the... Right now, technically, they're the 12th seeded at 2-5. But so if they're in the playing realm or somehow on the outside looking in, they're going to make some moves. I wouldn't be surprised if you hear some rumors. Eventually, a trade happen. They got to figure something out. Brown's got to get involved in the fourth quarter. Jaylen Brown has been too many games where you look up at halftime and you're like, yo, Jaylen Brown got 20. Jaylen Brown had 15 in a quarter or whatever. Like, he's been having really good first 3 quarters of games. And then in the fourth quarter, they give the ball to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown's in a corner. And Tatum is not playing well in the clutch right now. Jason Tatum's clutch play is really, really bad. Let's take a look at this from StatMuse. Just a quick tweet from StatMuse. See if I can make this bigger for y'all. Jason Tatum has played 37 minutes in the clutch. And clutch, for those of you who don't know, is considered, I want to say, less than 5 points apart, under 5 minutes left. Those are considered clutch moments in NBA according for stats. So he's played the most clutch minutes in the NBA right now, 37 minutes. And these are his stats: 7 for 25, 28%, 1 for 9, 11%, 3 assists, 4 turnovers. He is just simply not playing well in the clutch. I think it would behoove them to involve Brown more. Shoot, I know we just made fun of Shooter for putting up those bad layups and turning that ball over when he had the ball in the clutch, but maybe let him operate in the clutch a little bit, because Tatum is clearly one of those players who is in a slump right now. Like a lot of players in the league, there are a lot of players in the league right now. They're in a slump. They're blaming on a lot of different things. Some players, I think, have injuries. Some players, I think, don't like the new ball, apparently. I forgot they switched from the Spalding ball to a Wilson ball, or vice versa. But they switched basketball brands. Some people are blaming it on the new foul calls. I wouldn't necessarily call it Tatum slump based on the new foul calls, because to me, he didn't strike me as someone who was foul baiting all the time anyway. But hey, he's clearly in a slump. Something's messing with him, and he's just got to figure this out. Let's talk about the Timberwolves. Minnesota Timberwolves. They're currently 3-3. And I missed my opportunity. I wanted to make a TikTok about them last week where I gave them some praise because they were winning some games. They were looking really good. There was a stretch where I was like, oh, okay. All right, Timberwolves. Towns was looking all right. Looked like he wanted to play some defense this year. Ant-Man was looking good. D'Lo was looking good. And let's just talk about what happened here and what I've seen. So we started out. They beat the Rockets. Everybody's like, oh, okay. Timberwolves looking nice. You know, it was 124 to 106. We got Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards talking smack to the Rockets bench, saying like, yo, y'all better call a timeout. I'm killing y'all. I'm hot. Then they beat the Pelicans. Start out 2-0. Then they lose to the Pelicans. And I'm like, y'all probably shouldn't have lost to them. Then y'all beat the Bucks. So now we're 3-1. And I'm like, oh, y'all beat the Bucks. That's a big win. That's a good, solid, big win. I was happy to see that. Then I'm watching the Nuggets game. They're in the game with the Nuggets. Now, granted, we know Murray's out, but the Nuggets are still a really, really good team. They ultimately losing that game. They have the opportunity to sit in it overtime. Will Barton basically gets the game-saving block. And then Jokic comes up behind him, cleans it up, makes a layup for Anthony Edwards really tough, and he misses the game-tying layup. Then they lose against the Magic, and that's where you're like, well, y'all were looking really good. Now you just lost 115 to 97 to the Magic, and you played the Clippers tonight. That's where they are. That's where they are right now. We'll talk about that Clippers game in a little bit because I want to talk about their future games. But let's take a look at the Timberwolves and see what my thoughts are. So, the Timberwolves. So right now, Towns is playing very good. He's showing to me still that he's one of the best skilled big men in the league. He looks a little more aggressive. He's shooting a lot. I want to say a lot. Let me rephrase. He is the best shooting big in the league. Currently shooting 52% from the field, 50% from three, averaging 24 points. Now, the points situation isn't necessarily a career high for him. I'm sorry, he's averaging 24 points. Did I say 22? He's averaging 24 points. So he's having a really, really good season. 9 rebounds, 4 assists. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Towns. I'm liking what I'm seeing on the Ant-Man. Anthony Edwards is electric. He's electrifying. I don't know how else to say it. I wish he would shoot a 3-ball a little bit better. I mean, he's not like he shot the 3-ball great last year either. In general, I hope he shoots the 3-ball better throughout his career. It'll really open his game up a lot. But he's playing really well. I think he's averaging about 20 points a game. I can pull it up right now. I thought I had it up, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, just under 20. Just over 20. He's averaging 23 a game. 8 total rebounds, 3 assists, 40% from the field, 30% from 3. Like I said, he's not shooting the most efficient, but he's had a couple of good games. He's had a couple of games that made people go, all right, that Rockets game was a lot of fun to watch. He's doing his thing. Had 29 against the Rockets, 28 against the Pelicans game that they lost in, 25 against Orlando, 25 against Milwaukee. So he's been playing kind of well. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of him. I just think the Timberwolves, this is what I kind of wanted to talk about. More than the players, I wanted to talk about the team as a whole, because their next stretch of games is going to mean a lot for them. Like I said, they're currently 3-3. They had a great game against the Bucks, but then messed around and lost to the Magic, lost to the Nuggets. So it's clear to me that I'll be honest. I don't know if they're a good team or a bad team yet. And what I mean by that is good teams beat bad teams. Bad teams don't always beat bad teams. Bad teams like flip a coin against bad teams. And that's how you get your teams that are 500 and your teams that are like, they're good, but they're just missing something. And I feel like the Timberwolves for the last couple of years have been, they're good, but they're just missing something. They could make the step to be a good team. And all that really means is you just beat the really bad teams. You beat the Magics. You beat the Pistons. You beat the Cavs. And I really like the Kings, but I don't have total faith in them yet. So you beat teams like the Kings. You beat the bad teams. You beat the Pelicans. You beat the Rockets. But their stretch coming up, they play some rough games. They play the Lakers, Warriors, Suns, Grizzlies, and they see the Clippers 3 times between now and November 15th. Those are some tough games. Lakers, Warriors, Suns, Grizzlies. Low-key, those are all L's. I don't see them beating the Warriors. I don't see them beating the Suns. The Lakers are playing like the Lakers are supposed to play. We'll talk about them in a second because they're playing a little bit better. They should probably lose. If the Grizzlies, let me rephrase, if Ja Morant is still being Ja Morant, he could beat them. So these 3 Clippers games are going to be really, really big for them. I feel like the Clippers and Timberwolves are both in very similar spots. Paul George is playing amazing basketball right now. He looks like MVPG if you ask me. The main difference is they're still losing games. He's had game nights where he's dropped 40 and still lost because there's just no offense there for the Clippers. There's no one else to help. There's no one else to really make a basket. That team needs Kawhi, especially after losing a lot of the depth that they've lost. Lou Will, Montrez. They need their best player. I'm not even going to say they need their best player, which is Kawhi Leonard. I love Paul George, but Kawhi, I would say, is the best player on that team, and they need him. They need both of them because without them, they just don't have the offense to win games because that team doesn't have any offensive depth. And even with Kawhi back, they would still struggle, I think, because Kawhi and Paul George both have to go for 30 for them to have a chance to win games, for them to really be in games. So I think the Clippers and Timberwolves playing them 3 times between now and the 15th is big because we'll see who's real and who's not. As simple as that sounds. Neither of them are what I would consider like a real team in the sense of second round playoffs, championship aspirations. I'm talking who might make a 6 seed, who might make a 7 seed out of these 2 teams. Like that's the reality I think that these teams are in. But if the Timberwolves lose all these games to the Clippers and really just have a really rough spot here, it's going to just show that they're not ready to play with the big teams. They're not ready, and that's fine. we already saw, we talked about it before, that Karl-Anthony Towns had some frustration going into this league because he basically has said how much turmoil he's gone throughout his career with the Timberwolves. He's been with different players, different coaches, different organizational level staff, GM, president, stuff like that. He hasn't had any stability in his career. And I'll be honest, it looks a little similar to what Devin Booker had to go through for a lot. He did not have a lot. He had a lot of instability. They were running 3-point guard lineups over there. They changed coaches a couple of times. They just kept changing and didn't have any stability. And that's what Towns is going through right now. That's what Towns has been going through throughout his whole career. And it's unfortunate because Towns is an elite player, but that's just where he is. And like, I hate to say it as simple as that, but that's just where he is. All right, let's continue. But keep an eye on them Clippers games. I'm going to try to catch probably 2 of them. Like, I might watch, they're currently 20-18, end of the first quarter. They're playing now, and they play again on Friday. So I might try to catch that game after this. Because I'm curious, between the 2 of them, who's going to prove to me, not even just to me, but who's just going to prove to themselves that they're willing to become winners, as simple as that sounds. Excuse me. My allergies are like acted up right now. And so I got a couple of things I want to talk about before we head out of here. Y'all know I don't like to hold you guys hostage. I don't like to keep you guys long. But these are just some, like, I don't want to say the word rapid fire, but a couple of things that are on my mind that I really had to get off my chest. I'm struggling right now, sorry, because all my devices decided to act up. But can we talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and how I don't think OKC deserves him? As dumb as that sounds, as trivial as that sounds, as like, Aaron, what do you talk about don't deserve him, as that sounds, I mean it just like that. I don't think they deserve him. And that's because they're wasting his talents. They're wasting his talents in Oklahoma. Oklahoma City, they don't want to win. They made that clear. I'm very nervous, not necessarily nervous, but apprehensive that they'll do what they did last year and shut him down mid-season. He was having a good year last year. They shut him down mid-season. He doesn't really flourish or anything like that while from being there, because they're trying to lose games. I get it. You have all these draft picks. You're going to build for the future. You know how to draft. Like, that team knows how to draft, but they just don't want to play. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right now, 22 points, 44% from the field, 36% for 3. You know who can use that? And I'm going to let my Philly bias pop out. You already know where I'm going. Imagine Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the Sixers. Imagine him in a pick and roll with Joel Embiid. Imagine Joel Embiid in a pick and roll with a guard who can shoot off the dribble, attack the rim, and create for others a little bit. Not the playmaking level of Ben, I'll admit that. Not the defensive level of Ben, but a way better scorer. Imagine Joel Embiid with a 20-point per game scorer who can shoot the 3. And not even at a crazy high percentage. 36, it's solid. It's good. But it's not like great. It ain't 40. It ain't 44 like we see players do. But just imagine. Joel Embiid and a pick and roll with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Wow. I would love to see that. And I'll be honest, even if they don't trade him to the Sixers, they could trade him to, who's the team that needs a point guard? Shucks, I don't know. Jamal Murray's out. That trade's impossible. But just, I would love to see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on a team whose games mattered. On a team who I would enjoy watching, because I like his game. But watching Oklahoma City games are rough. And they got some young players. They got some young players who are excited to watch. I won't even say exciting to watch. They got some young players who are interesting to watch. So sometimes if the Thunder are playing a team, that I want to see, I might tune in and then I can kind of get 2 birds with 1 stone. But even still, I'm usually like, nah, because I don't think the game's going to be close. Just free Shea, free SGA, get him out of there. Thunder. I mean, I'm still rocking with you because I'm from over there, kind of, sort of, but free SGA. Next on the docket, can we have our what's the phrase? Can your apology be as loud as your disrespect was? Everybody was hating on my man Russ. I've seen so many tweets and things like that. I made a video myself. My video wasn't hate though. My video was just suggestions. But Russ is playing a little better. The Lakers put three wins together, string some wins together. Russ playing well in those games that they won. Playing better. I wouldn't know if I'd say playing completely well, but definitely playing a whole lot better than he started. Still not shooting a 3-ball well. But if they can win games, they can win games. But it's been crickets. He has been playing a whole lot better these last 3 or 4 games, and it's been absolutely crickets. I'm just saying, guys, if you're going to disrespect him, if you're going to call him, talk to him crazy, if you're going to say he need to come off the bench, he don't belong here, let's just give him his flowers when he's playing better. Because if they do figure it out, the Lakers are nice. If the Russ can figure out how to play with them, Lakers are going to be nice or okay at least, regardless. That's Anthony Davis, LeBron James. They'll figure it out. They'll make the playoffs. But they got championship aspirations, and everybody's got to play at 100%. You know what I mean? Quickly, let's talk about Damian Lillard. His team is playing well. He is playing atrocious. Damian Lillard currently averaging, I should have pulled it up beforehand. I didn't. I mean, it's career lows. I'm almost certain it's career lows and everything. Yep. Career low on points, 18.6. His rookie season, it was 19 points. To put it into perspective, was the last time he scored less than 20 a game. 3-point percentage, 23%. Field goal percentage, 34%. He's never shot this bad in his life, in his career. What is going on with him, you ask? I think he's still injured. As crazy as that is to say, I'm pretty sure he's still injured. I've been watching some other people's videos. I've been reading some reports, and a lot of people have brought it to light that he looked like this in the Olympics. And then once we came to find out why, he said, oh, it was either his ribs or his back. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was injured in the Olympics, and he put up very similar numbers, shooting percentage wise. He's actually shooting a little worse now than he was in the Olympics, but he was still horrible in the Olympics. So my theory is Dame's playing injured. Why is he playing injured? I have no idea. If he is injured, he needs to tell his staff, tell his team. They'll understand. They'll try to get him fixed up, because right now he's only making it worse if he actually is injured. So Dame, take your time. Y'all losing games anyway. CJ is playing great. Let me just shout him out since we're talking about the team. CJ is playing great. He's having a career year, literally career highs and everything. Currently averaging 23 points, shooting 42% from 3, 44% from the field. He's looking like how he looked last year at the beginning of the season, if you ask me. Before he got injured, I felt that CJ McCollum took his game to another level. I feel like he was ready to take that next step. He was looking absolutely amazing in the first half of last season before he got injured. I think he's back to that level again. He recovered from his injury. He rehabbed well. He got to work in the offseason, you know what I mean? And he looks really, really good. But it doesn't matter if Dame's looking trash, because you're not going to win games. And it sucks. It really, really does. But, I mean, Dame, if that's how you look right now, then I think you should just not play. Like, I hate to say it like that, but you don't belong on the floor if that's all you can do. And before we get out of here, let's take a look. The City jerseys dropped. Some people have made some reactions to them. I haven't really looked at them that much, so let's take a look at them together real quick. So these are the City jerseys for the year. If you don't know, they make different types of jerseys for different occasions. City jerseys is basically what they're calling, I would say, just a specialty jersey. It's just another specialty jersey. And every team makes a City jersey. It's supposed to, let me rephrase. It's the team uniform that represents the ultimate basketball Moments mixtape. Interesting. But these are for the most part a lot of throwback homages. I'm just gonna go through them with you guys, see which ones I like the most. This Hawks one is fire. I'll always love that Hawks logo. This Memphis one, paying homage to Grit and Grind Grizzlies. This reminds me of Zebo, Gasol, Mike Conley era. I'm liking this. It's giving me Steve franchise vibes. This from Chicago is kind of fire. I just like that logo, like that font. Sixers what I'm really not feeling. This Bucks one, Jesus Shuttlesworth, Ray Allen type vibes. I don't like this. I'll admit this Dallas one. I know it's homage to those like OG Dirk days. Like we're talking Steve Nash was on the team still. Like those OG Dallas Mavericks, I believe. I don't really like it. The OVO Toronto, I think we get it. Like I would love to see them, and I feel like it's like the second or third year in a row they've done like a gold and black colorway. I would love to see them do a throwback purple to like the Vince Carter era of jerseys. Like we get it. Drake's affiliated. We get it. Spurs, I like these colors. I do. I wish they would have done something fun with the actual Spurs logo to make it match this colorway, because it's just the generic black and gray Spurs with this really bright, vibrant color. Utah Jazz jersey doesn't really look that different. Like I'm almost certain they had a jersey that looked just like this last year or the year before. The Magic jersey, I don't like. This Valley jersey, once again, I'm almost certain they had something very similar. The Purple Lakers, nice little throwback action. Sacktown, I appreciate. Reminds me of DeMarcus Cousins. It's something about this. Maybe I wish the Sacktown was bigger, or the 5 was lower, or something. It gives me t-shirt jersey vibes for some reason. I do like it. It just doesn't feel like a jersey. It feels like a t-shirt. It's OKC white on white. I hate. It shows they don't have any history. Like this. It sucks. It sucks for them. Like if you ask me, OKC, I don't know if it's possible, but their throwback stuff, their city edition stuff, the stuff that pays homage to their history, should have some Easter eggs or head nods, I guess I'll at least say, to their Supersonics jerseys. I think people would really appreciate that. I don't know if it's possible, maybe because of trademarking or whatever, or who owns the Sonics stuff, but I think it would just really be a nice homage. I think fans would appreciate it. OKC fans and Supersonics fans, and just NBA fans in general. You make a Thunder jersey that has Sonics colors and pays homage to Sonics, people are gonna buy it. But this white on white with silver, this screams we don't have history. This screams we weren't a team in 2008, 2009. That's what I think when they moved over there. But it just screams we don't have a long history. I mean, it's okay. Like in 20, 30 years, I guess their throwbacks will be the original Thunder jersey, but this looks trash. Wizards, it's old school. It's all right. T-Wolves, fire. KG days. This is fire. The Denver one, I saw a lot of people wondering why they picked the rainbow. Denver Nuggets have always had like rainbow homage, especially the OG stuff. Charlotte, another team who I think could have maybe did some, either give homage to the Charlotte Bobcats or the New Orleans Hornets. Like pick one of those to give homage to. This honeycomb style with the blue, like you're keeping your current colors. I mean, I guess because New Orleans Hornets, they had that blue. I want to say they had blue too, so maybe that's it. But it doesn't feel like it. Maybe give me some Bobcats about vibes. I don't know. I'm not feeling this. The Nets jersey is fire. Throwback to New Jersey Nets. This is dumb. These lightning bolts I'm not feeling. This is dumber. I get what they were going for. It's like every font of our previous logos all kind of mashed into one. Stupid. I don't really like it. It gives me serial killer notes vibes for some reason. New York Knicks jersey. I like it. It's just black and orange. It ain't really nothing special to it, but I rock with it. Let me know what your favorite city jerseys are in the comments below. But guys, that's everything for today's episode. Appreciate you all for hanging out with me. Appreciate you for watching. Tell your friends about the show. Subscribe to the channel. I don't really be asking for subscriptions or follows and likes and stuff like that on most of my content. And to be honest with you, ain't nobody gonna see this. It's at the end of a 40-minute video. But like it. Subscribe to the channel. Let's try to get like 30 subscribers by the end of the season, by the end of the year. Like 2021, end of this year. But currently I think at like 11, 12 subscribers. Not much. But thanks once again. Thanks for rocking with me. My allergies are killing me, so I do apologize for the low energy. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Almost said next Tuesday. But the show is officially now on Wednesdays. I'm out of here. Peace.